FTX, a due diligence expert weighing in on the FTX fallout, says the Securities Commission of the Bahamas is too small to regulate FTX. This from, of course, the expert who says that he regulators the size of the SCB, Securities Commission of the Bahamas, are typically not in a position to effectively police an organization with billions of dollars of assets and a million or so customers. The local officials also tied closely to the industry. I've spoken to one or two, of course, on the condition of anonymity, says that they agree with this expert, that the industry is understaffed, I guess underqualified, inexperienced. Just the list goes on. How do you think this will play out when the international community and investigators will continue probing? How will this make the Bahamas look?
I heard the same guy talk about it makes the Bahamas look bad, but I don't agree with him. I don't agree with him. I'm very cautious of American journalists because they want to paint the picture.
But this guy says, no, this wasn't a journalist. This is a so-called industry expert.
Whether the industry, you're trying to paint a picture that's making our jurisdiction look badly. We're evolving. This is an evolutionary process for us. It is. Okay? This is the first time we had an opportunity to, I guess, wet our feet in this industry. And yes, we don't have the manpower. We know we are short-staffed. We don't have all of the technical, I guess, manpower in the Securities Commission. The issue is that it's a learning curve for the Bahamas. And so the question is, the SEC did not see any of these foolishness as well, too. So don't beat us up. Because, of course, they're operating in the United States of America, and you didn't catch the problems that you're trying to say we didn't catch. And so you have hundreds of thousands of millions of people. How many people y'all get working there? You all didn't see it. Don't blame us because we only get, how much, 8,000? How much? 800? 800 workers?
In the industry?
In the Securities Commission. 800? 700?
No, it can't be. 800 people in the Securities Commission?
Something like that.
That's a lot. Because they are certainly not understaffed if it's 800 people in the security.
My numbers may be off. Yeah. But anyway. The issue is that, we got to be very careful. The Bahamas is just wet its feet in this industry. We are learning, we are growing.
And the industry continues to move at the speed of light.
And yes, this is $1 billion company. This is the first time we had to deal with that. It's not our fault that they collapsed. It's not the Bahamas' fault that they collapsed. You can't blame me. The same license you give them, you give other companies, right? And if these companies mismanage their funds, you can't blame the jurisdiction that granted you the license. And so we got to be very careful how we're trying to paint or make it political because it's not political. Now, the issue that the opposition leader brought up, if they received money as politicians, then that's an issue. But their collapsing has nothing to do with a political leader because the political parties, it had nothing to do with their day-to-day management. And so we got to be careful how we try to gain political brownie points on an issue like this. You have to be responsible in that, listen, yes, they came to our jurisdiction. Yes, we granted them license. Yes, this was under this administration. But perhaps maybe our Securities Commission should have insisted on good corporate governance. In other words, you should have a board of directors. You should have X amount of lawyers. You should have all these people in place for checks and balances. Now, some of them didn't have none of these. They didn't have no corporate governance. Sam was the one-man band controlling the whole show. When you're dealing with billions of dollars, you need to have checks and balances because I may make a decision that goes very well, may not be good, but the board of directors might say, listen, I don't think that's a good decision. And so the issue was that, moving forward, I think the Securities Commission should insist that whoever comes into our jurisdiction must have good corporate governance. And these are what we require as good corporate governance.
Well, and then it's a lesson,
It is.
So they're learning, moving forward to see exactly what needs to be in place and what's non-negotiable.
Precisely.
And to be able to ensure that any company moving forward have that set, different tiers of corporate governance in place.
But I'm in defense of my jurisdiction. The Bahamas is a learning curve for the Bahamas. The Bahamas did absolutely nothing wrong. The government did nothing wrong in this regard. The government did it right. The government granted them the license and was allowing them to operate. However, their operation, perhaps, we should have looked at how do we now, once we granted them license for this corporate governance thing, but they did nothing wrong. Now, if they receive monies on the side, that's another day. We could deal with that on another day. But with this FTX, their collapse has to do with Sam Bankman leveraging people's money where you shouldn't leverage. And then what happened was when the domino fell is when CZs decided to pull out and everybody else pulled out and they couldn't They couldn't liquidate us fast enough. That's it.
Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow our TikTok account. Thanks.